Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra versus iPhone 17 Pro Max is one of those comparisons where both phones are obviously great, which is honestly a little annoying because it would be way easier if one of them was a disaster. But that's not the case. The Galaxy S26 Ultra is excellent. Both are expensive enough that buying one feels like you should at least get a free steak dinner and a handshake from the CEO. So this is not about which phone is good, it's about which phone keeps helping you more once the shiny new feeling wears off and actually becomes your daily phone. Because that's where Samsung and Apple still feel very different. The iPhone 17 Pro Max is still really good at making everything feel smooth, simple, and familiar. The Galaxy S26 Ultra is still really good randomly extra stuff that makes you stop and go. That's actually really useful. And that's the whole angle of this video. Now, which phone has more fake hype, not which launch event has more background music. Just 5 things the S26 Ultra does that the iPhone 17 Pro Max still doesn't do the same way. Plus 3 big daily things that people use all the time when the choice gets interesting. And the first one is privacy. Not digital privacy, not corporate privacy, and not the "we care about your data" speech every company gives while probably knowing what socks you almost bought last Tuesday. I mean actual screen privacy. Because the second you use your phone outside your house, people get weird. You're on a plane, checking your boarding pass, at a coffee shop, replying to a message, standing in line, opening a bank account. Suddenly, the person beside you is acting like your screen is community property. The Galaxy S26 Ultra has privacy display built in, which means it does a much better job blocking side angles when you want your screen to stay in your business. That matters way more than it sounds. Because on iPhones, privacy strategy is still body language. Tilt the phone, lower the brightness, lean away, pretend that the stranger next to you isn't reading your text like they're paid for premium access. Samsung looked at that problem and actually did something about it. It's one of those features that sounds boring until you use it once in public and suddenly it stops sounding boring real fast. Second, the S Pen. In every year, people still talk about the S Pen like it's some weird niche feature for 2 designers and 1 architect hiding in a basement. No, the S Pen is useful because fingers are sloppy. That's the whole story. Signing a PDF with your finger feels stupid. Copying something precisely with your fingers feels stupid. Marking up a screenshot with your finger feels weird. Trying to quickly write down a number while someone talks too fast feels crazy. The S26 Ultra gives you the S Pen right into the phone. And that changes the kind of phone this is. Because now it's not just a phone. It's also the thing you use when you need to do one annoying little task properly instead of approximately. The iPhone 17 Pro Max still feels cleaner here, but it also feels more limited. Everything has to happen through the same glass slab touch experience. Whether you're kept casually scrolling or trying to do something that actually needs precision, Samsung gives you another option. And that's the pattern with this full comparison. The iPhone is usually cleaner. Samsung usually gives you one more move. Third, DeX. This is one of those features that sounds like nerd bait until the day it saves you. Then suddenly, it becomes very normal about it, while recommending it to everyone like you discovered fire. Because with the S26 Ultra, if you connect it to a bigger screen, it can actually behave like a desktop style workspace. Not just, look, your phone is bigger now. Actual windows, actual multitasking. Actually, I can get something done here energy. And this matters when you travel, work on the go, sit in your monitor, present stuff, answer emails in weird places, or just occasionally need your phone to stop acting like entertainment and it start acting like backup equipment. The iPhone 17 Pro Max still handles external displays in a much more limited way, which is fine if all you want is simple. But if you want your phone to suddenly become useful in a completely different context, Samsung's still playing a different game. And hey guys, so far you've liked this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe because it looks like I'm just talking to myself in a room full of gadgets. Fourth, multitasking. And this is where Apple and Samsung still feel like they were designed by people with very different tolerance levels for chaos. On the Galaxy S26 Ultra, you can still do proper split screen, app pairs, 2 apps at once, and all that stuff. And I know that sounds like a productivity YouTuber's trying to sell you a morning routine, but in real life it's actually simple. Maps and messages, email and browser, a shopping page and calculator, YouTube and notes, flight details and WhatsApp, That is not how we're using behavior. That is just Tuesday. On iPhone, everything's smoother when you stay in the one at a time lane. And a lot of people generally like that. It keeps the phone feeling clean and controlled. But the second you want to juggle two things at once without hopping back and forth like a caffeinated squirrel, Samsung still gives you more room. And once you get used to that extra room, going back feels a little cramped. Not terrible, just cramped. Fifth, zoom. This is the easiest one to explain because nobody needs a spreadsheet to understand that thing is far away. Samsung still gives you way more reach with something across the stage, across the stadium, across the street, or across wherever your legs don't feel like going. And this matters a lot in real life. Concerts, travel, buildings, signs, random what is that? Moments. Job site details. Anything where you want the photo but do not want to physically enter this scene like a lost extra in the background. The iPhone 17 Pro Max has improved here, and for a lot of people, it's more than enough. But Samsung still gives you more zoom flexibility, and that makes the S26 Ultra more fun in those moments where the shot is nowhere near you and you still want it. Now, those are the headline features, but honestly, daily use is where this comparison gets more interesting because most people are not spending their day thinking about DeX or space zoom. They're doing camera stuff, battery stuff, messaging stuff, calls, selfies, social medias, basic life. So let's do the 3 side-by-side daily thing that actually matter the most. First, camera. This is where the answer depends on what type of person you are, and that's exactly why these videos get messy. The iPhone 17 Pro Max still feels safer for quick point and shoot stuff. You pull it out, snap, and the result usually looks cleaner, natural, and ready to post without much drama. Samsung is stronger when you want options, more zoom range, more flexibility, more room to play, and in some situations, more dramatic looking results right away. So if you're the type who wants just give me the shot and don't make it weird, iPhone still has a strong case. If you like having more tools and a bit more range to work with, Samsung is more exciting, and that's really the split. iPhone is usually the safer photography, Samsung is usually the more adventurous one. Second, battery and charging. This one is funny because people always talk about battery like they live in the wilderness and regularly need their phone to survive a 3-day mountain expedition with no outlet. Most people just want two things: last, long charge, fast. And this is where the choice gets interesting. The iPhone 17 Pro Max still has a reputation for being an absolute tank on battery life. The kind of phone that makes you forget where your charger even is. Samsung does it well too, but where you usually feels better is recovery. You charge it and it comes back up faster. So the iPhone feels more like the phone that refuses to die. The S26 Ultra feels more like the phone that gets back on its feet quicker after you made bad decisions all afternoon. Third, everyday communication stuff: calls, text, voice notes, selfies, quick videos, public use, social media, that whole messy category that basically eats half your day without asking permission. This is where iPhone still wins a lot of people over because everything feels direct. Open app, do things, done. FaceTime, selfies, quick social stuff, simple call handling, all of that still feels very natural on iPhone. Samsung answers differently. Privacy display is useful in public. Audio clean out tool is useful in noisy places. Its AI feature are more likely to jump in and offer a shortcut before you go in digging into apps yourself. And when you need to write, crop, markup, and multitask mid-conversation, the S26 Ultra has more tricks. So again, the iPhone often feels easier. Samsung often feels more equipped. And that's why neither one fully crushes the other. They're good at different versions of daily life. If your day is mostly simple, social, fast, and familiar, the iPhone 17 Pro Max still makes a ton of sense. If your day is slightly messier, more public, more multitasking heavy, and full of those tiny moments where one extra feature can save you from extra annoyances, the Galaxy S26 Ultra starts to feel way more convincing. And that's really the whole point of this comparison. The iPhone 17 Pro Max is not losing because it's bad. It's not bad at all. It just feels like Apple still focused on making the cleanest possible version of the smartphone experience. Samsung still focused on giving you more ways to solve the same problem. Sometimes that means the iPhone feels calmer. Sometimes that means the Galaxy feels smarter. So if you want the smoother, more simplest, more predictable phone, the iPhone 17 Pro Max is still ridiculously easier to recommend. But if you want a phone that keeps randomly doing useful little extra things and gives you more room when life gets slightly chaotic, the Galaxy S26 Ultra makes a very strong case. And honestly, that is probably the cleanest way to explain these two in 2026. The iPhone 17 Pro Max feels easier. The Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra feels handier. That's it. No cult speeches, no fake outrage, just which one fits your real life better. Drop in the comments which one you pick and why. I read them, and yes, I judge respectfully. Hit like if this saved you from watching 14 other comparison videos. Subscribe if you enjoy watching me overanalyze tiny glass computers so you don't have to. Appreciate you. This is Nas from Built for Tech, and see you guys next time.